I feel like yesterday's class was so rich and so deep. I needed just a little bit more time to kind of sit with it and process what was channeled through. So I think what I want to say is if you're getting to know me, or maybe you know this already, one of the things that I am dedicated to is distilling down to the finite, resourced truth. Not all of the things. I think our world is already so loud and so busy, and this product and this modality and this thing, like I get it, and things have their place. Nothing wrong with that. But it can be a lot of noise. It can be a lot of overwhelm trying to find the right thing for you, right? So something that's always worked for me is I love that and what else? I love that. What's under that? I love that and what else and what else and what else and what else? So for me, this process called life, the process of growth and expansion and healing and whatever other language you want to put there, is always about the distillation process of finding the truth of the truth. And I've been in this world, in this coaching, self-development, personal development, spiritual development world for 20 years now. This is my anniversary, 20th anniversary. So I've seen a lot of things. I've done a lot of things. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've gone down those rabbit holes. I've done all of the things that I'm talking about. And I think that's why I value the guidance from my guides to do it this way. So, long story short, embodiment is one of those distilled truths. The way my brain works, and I'm going to ramble a little bit, so thank you for your patience. The process for me, the way my brain works, is I see an end result, but I want to know the first step to get there. Because another level of overwhelm is when we see all the steps and we have no idea where to begin. I want that outcome. I want this. I want peace, freedom, joy, expansion, alignment. I want this, right? That's my goal. Okay, and how do I get there? How do I get there? How to distill it down to, like I call it the domino effect. I don't need to know all the dominoes. I want to know the first domino because the first domino makes all the other ones fall. So if I want that end result of that spiral pattern of that domino setup, I only need to know the first one. Do you feel that ease? That's so easy. I love that. I love the peace in that. So reduce, 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 reduce to this moment of like, what's the first domino? So my mind goes, well, if empaths are absorbing everyone's energies because they're self-abandoning, okay? If trauma taught us to self-abandon, okay? If we find comfort in being able to be useful in the world, but it's temporary, it's not real comfort, it's a moment, it's dopamine, okay? All of these things are the symptoms of how we can find that first domino embodiment, being in your own body. Because if you're in your own body, you are stabilized within your root chakra. You are opening up the capacity because there's an expression of like, I want this, I love this. When safety is in, then we explore. So safety and that stability, right? You're in your body, you're grounding, you're like, ah, I can do this. And then there's this natural tendency to want to expand your capacity. You don't have to make that happen. It is a natural response to safety because, right, lack of safety responds with contraction. Duh, that makes sense. That's math, right? So if you have this expansive energy, now you're going to want to fill it up. Now you're going to want to thrive and shine and do things and express things and make things and be things. So, if the issue is self abandonment, then the antidote is embodiment. So when we're talking about these practices in this 9 weeks, and especially yesterday's class, when we talked about the simplicity of feeling into the physical body. Got it. I'm physical. I'm physical at my shoulders. I'm in my mind's eye, kind of going through my body. I'm right here. I feel my body. Because one of the things that happens with empaths and people in general that live in trauma or have lived through trauma is we are disconnected from our physicality because it was so hurtful when we were connected during the abuse, neglect, harm. So we've learned to live just a little bit outside of our body. So if I'm in my physical and I feel it, right? I feel my body. Right? I like to tap sometimes and rub and, like I'm right here. Then if I know that, then I'm gonna know this. So then I go outside and I feel the space of my aura. It's like, ooh, I feel this and I feel this. Now you're creating a multidimensional awareness. If I know this and I know this, then I know this. I know my space. I have proprioception. I know where I am in space because I am oriented to self, to my center, right? Okay. So if I know that, then I'm gonna know when I'm out. If I know what it feels like to be in, then I'm gonna know what it feels like to be out. And then if I know I'm out, I know my way back. I know my breadcrumbs back to self. So where these practices sound super simple and they're meant to be, I want them to be simple. They have a lot of weight behind them of importance. They are the foundational practices for everything else. Every other domino comes from the first domino. If embodiment is the first domino, then everything else follows. That's why I like things like this, the 9 weeks. We're building our domino design. So we start with the first one. That's embodiment. If you're in, then you know when you're out. If you know when you're out, you can go back in. And if you know that you're in, then you da 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 da, right? So it makes me really, I get excited because of that, because I too have made things very hard. I also bought into the story that it has to be hard and difficult and hard work. And I've no pain, no gain is that program. So I too bought into the story that it must not be that valuable if it's so easy. That's kind of dumb. Like where's the blood, sweat, and tears? And I personally am out to disrupt that program because I've seen amazing, powerful shifts come from ease, come from that simplicity that I only need to know the one thing and then everything else builds from there. And so I wanted to just reiterate that for you because I know humans and I know we value the hard, painful blood, sweat, and tears. We value that more. We were told that it's not worth it if you didn't hurt for it. And that's simply not true. You deserve ease. You deserve peace already, innately, not because you have to earn it, because it's already available. You see, it already is. We were just taught you have to earn it. You see how this system, this organization, this structural system of our world has taught us that you don't already have it. You have to earn it because they knew we already had it. Mm. Big breath. You deserve to just simply have peace and alignment. And it can come with ease, it can come in simplicity. And I hope you give yourself the opportunity to kind of roll around in that possibility. Yes, there's effort in the sense of showing up and doing it and asking the right questions and being able to see the things that are uncomfortable. So there's an effort. but not a forced, physical, exhaustive effort. That's not the same thing. Effort just simply in the forward motion of moving our body towards the answer. But that movement can be very soft and very gentle. It starts with embodiment. If you're in, then you know when you're hurting yourself. If you're in, then you know when you're pushing too hard. When you're in, you know when you're forcing things and they shouldn't be forced. It's when we're out that we buy into the story of no pain, no gain. So I'm hoping that throughout this process and even beyond, like it still gets to be a concept to kind of have in your daily life beyond this 9 weeks. I'm hoping that you're seeing that. What am I hoping that you're seeing? Oh, that's such a juicy space. Let me hold that for a second because my mind went in 30 different directions. I'm hoping that you're seeing that all you need to know is the first step, and then everything else starts flowing from there. And then you'll know the next step, and then the next step. But we get to let go of, I need to know the whole thing before I take one single step. That's keeping us stuck. That's not how it works. We actually do, what they say, build the plane while you're flying it. That is how life is. I know this, so I'm going to do this. And then I know this now, I'm going to do that now. And on and on and on. So ease, joy, expansion. Yeah. So I've got a few exercises and meditations and guidances in the following videos. So enjoy those. And as always, I would love to hear how your experience is going. Let me know how I can support you further. And then we'll talk on the next class. Okay, lovely. Bye.